Hello everybody and welcome back to SkySaga Alpha 9. It is time for a bit more building. So we are over here in the Wastelands, and today I have actually I've gone out and done a little bit of gathering between this episode and the last one. So if we get out of this mode and have a quick look at my rucksack, you can see I have a whole bunch of gravel ready to go for today's episode. So obviously I'm going to be finishing off this hill over here and then starting to gravel out the rest of the build around the place. Now what I'm thinking I'm going to do to start with is I am going to start with the edges. So I'm going to start out over here and I'm going to take this edge and extend it all the way out to the corner. Then I might drop it down a little bit, try and kind of bring it down to maybe about this level for the back run over here, and I'm going to fill out the entire edge just so I can see on the map what type of space that I am working with, because as you can see we've covered a fair amount of the map now in gravel, but we still have quite a long way to go. So the amount of gravel I have may not be enough. We may have to go out and get some more gravel partway through this episode. I really hope not, but it is a very possible thing because there is a lot of area left yet to cover. So we're going to crack on through. I'm going to start over, as I said, start over here and start with the edges around the place and see what we can do about getting this kind of a little bit more marked out and easier to understand. And just like that, we've now got a ring around the edge. So as you can see, I have a lot of room to work with, and I have a huge section over in this corner that I haven't actually done anything with yet. So I'm actually thinking I'm going to try cover kind of like this section here all the way down and around and kind of cover off all of the landmarks that I've done so far, and I might leave this section here open and build a new landmark into it for next week, because looking at this and looking at how much gravel I've already gone through, I am definitely not going to have enough gravel to finish off this build this week, which is unfortunate, and I probably am not going to have enough time to collect enough gravel to finish this build off this week either, which is also quite unfortunate. So yeah, that all coupled with the fact that I do have a lot of space over here where nothing is really happening right now leads me to kind of want to put something there. I'm not really sure what I'm going to put there yet. There have been a couple of suggestions on the forums and things for extra landmarks, so I might have a quick flick through those and see if I can find something interesting that I do want to put in there. Now, I'm just going to quickly grab out a torch and we'll have a quick look down over here. Although you don't really need to see it because you can see it kind of camouflaged against the backdrop here, or silhouetted against the backdrop. So this is my little cave that I was talking about building in. So this level here is actually the base level of the island. We can't get in underneath that level. So that's the bottom of the island, and then so far we've got 3 little caverns that are going to be filled out with walls and everything, but the ground level of them had to be gravel because of course it doesn't grow grass or anything stupid like that. So these are coming along quite well. I'm going to probably make the walls out of dirt, I reckon, just to save on gravel, because I have some dirt sitting around the place that will be enough to do stuff like this. I also need to go through and actually add the small cave that connects these two together. So I'm probably going to have it some form of weird system here that you kind of push on through and you go sideways and then kind of come at this thing from a different angle, or maybe even from a slightly higher angle so that you can't like jump back up through it. I'm not 100% sure about how that's going to work out. I think the next thing is going to be getting this cave linked up and opened up out over here somewhere. So I'm probably going to put my cave mouth down around here, somewhere in the ground just there is probably where the cave mouth is going to go. So it's probably going to leave me with one more cavern entrance, I reckon, between here and where the cave itself actually comes up to the surface area. And yeah, then this cave will be coming along quite nicely. So obviously it's going to have a lot of decorations and walls and all sorts of stuff put into it, but for now it's coming along quite well. So I'm going to grab out the boots of placing again and keep going with this stuff. Probably, yeah, finish off the base level for this and also put some more work into this hill, because as you can see, it is a very, very holy hill right now. And the mountain has a base level down, or a plateau level down, I guess I'm going to call this. So we've got a nice little plateau level here. This plateau level kind of covers a lot of the mountain space, and then we've got some extra holes that I've left around the place. Now, these extra holes are going to be extra mountain peaks, so there's going to be 4 more peaks. So we've got 1 peak over there, 1 peak here, which is a big one. I'm not sure if that's going to peak so I might just maybe just go up another like 4 or 5 layers and then plateau itself. And then we've got 2 little like weird holes over here that I'm going to turn into peaks as well, but I'm not sure that these ones are going to be huge. They're probably just going to be like 2 or 3 blocks higher than the rest of the stuff. So this one here is going to be the main one that, like I said, I think it's going to go up like 5 or 6 blocks and then just plateau itself, just because I don't really want to have like a giant spire built up here. And I'm just going to build the rest of this mountain the way I've built the mountain so far, and that's literally just going to be putting on the boots of placing and running around all over the place, getting myself set up, because I really find that this is definitely the nicest and easiest way of building up natural looking things. So it's really just as simple as placing down a couple of blocks, getting yourself going, and then once you're kind of going, you just kind of like amble your way along. And yeah, once you've got a layer down, you kind of come back to it later with just a pair of block placement gloves and fill in any of the holes you've missed. But yeah, you just kind of wander around the place. As you can see, I am leaving holes here, there, and everywhere, just like that one, but that's now covered. And yeah, we'll get back to those in just a little while. But for now, we're going to move on and just cover this little area and create a new little peak here. Once again, I think this one might plateau as well, actually. This one might plateau. Not this layer. I think the next layer up is the layer we're going to plateau. So probably this layer. I reckon we're going to plateau this one. So yeah, there you go. This is the simple and easy way I've found of building natural looking items, just because there's a certain element of randomness to the boots of placing, especially when you're kind of wandering around and not really paying too much attention to it. So you get nice little interesting shapes come out of it, and I quite like it. We'll have a quick step back and have a look at how this guy has come out. Obviously there is going to be a few holes here and there, but as you can see, that looks pretty natural other than the few holes here and there. So over this side, not too bad at all, and it does look like it has been spawned in by the random generator. So I'm going to put my boots of placing back on. I'm going to run this one, and I'm going to run those 2 over there, and we'll have a quick look at this place. Obviously I am starting to run down in my gravel again. I think I've used about 4,000 so far, and I had 9,000 to start with, so I'm about halfway through all of the gravel that I had, and it hasn't made a huge dent on this island, so we're definitely going to need some more gravel going forwards. But we'll use all the stuff that we've got, and yeah, then go back and start working on that cave, which we can do out of grass and dirt. With gravel reserves really starting to dwindle now, look at this, we're down to kind of the final 2,000 and a bit here. And check it out, the hillside is now done. So this is our first like major piece of landscaping, terraforming, whatever you really want to call it, completely done and dusted. So it's ready to go, and as you can see, it completely covers up the actual base down in under here, so you can't actually see anything of it anymore, and that's awesome. I'm really happy about that. But as you can tell, I have used 9,000 gravel just to get part of this done, so I'm going to need to collect up a whole bunch more gravel just to get this place anywhere near finished, because this is one hill and I'm going to need lots of like valleys and other hills and other bits and pieces. As you can see over here, I have a little like start of a valley set up, which I'm going to need to expand out as I grow it out anyway. And then I've got all of this space over here that I haven't yet decided what I'm doing with. And also I've got that corner to fill in over there. And so everything's going to need lots of terraforming. I'm going to need to build lots of hills and valleys and plateaus and other random bits and pieces just to kind of change the landscape and not make it have too many flat sections in it, because having too many flat sections in it is going to make this look just absolutely terrible, and we really don't want that. So I also have a little bit of extra space over here that I've just realized I haven't actually filled with gravel, so that needs to be graveled up as well. So yeah, gravel is going to be the aim of my play for SkySaga for the next week and a bit, just because it is going to take a lot to get there. So I think the next thing I want to do though is I want to come in through here. As you can see, this is what it looks like in under the hill. It looks kind of cool actually. So we're going to look at building up the cave in under here, and I think the first thing we're going to do is actually build the exit from there out into the cave area. So I've got that done and dusted. and then when I go through and start putting walls and stuff on the cave, I don't have to worry about where that is. It's just going to be there, and I can leave it as is. So let's grab some dirt and start working on that stuff. A good portion of the cave has now been done. So if we come down in here, we've got our first little area, and I've even kind of got a little bit of patterning on the roof, mostly just because of where the gravel sits in the top layers up here. It's kind of given us all of that just kind of for free almost. I will go through and add some extra blocks to the ceiling at a later date, but of course I need to finish off the rest of the cave right now. So we've got the join between the two cave sections here, and then we've got the larger cave section. Now this larger cave section of course houses the pathway that comes from the entrance or the exit to the smuggler's den here. So the smuggler's den ends up in this the storage room that we built in a previous episode, and then it makes its way all the way out through here, snaking down and around, getting kind of more rough and rugged as you go through. So as you can see, it kind of like separates from the stonework stuff into this gravel, and then you kind of push on up through here, around a couple of bends, and drop out into the cave just like that. So it does look a little bit weird, but it is inside of like a little gravel patch. I've also decided to build another one very similar over here that goes absolutely nowhere, just so kind of in hope that somebody will see this on the way in, and in a real adventure you would see that on the way in, you'd jump up there and have a look and nothing would be in there, so when you saw the second one you wouldn't jump up there and have a look at that. That's kind of my thinking. I'm not sure if that would actually work or not. Obviously this is quite a big section of cave, so I do actually need to go through and do the ceiling up as well. That's going to take a lot more blocks and bits and pieces. But then we've got a second join down to another area that hasn't been started yet, and a third join and a fourth area. So got a lot more like dirt and grass and clay and things which are going to make up the walls through here. I have obviously spent quite a lot of dirt already trying to get all of this stuff done. Some of it has been done and grown into grass already, but as you can see I take good care these days to try and make sure that when things grow into grass you can't see it from the inside, because that does break the illusion somewhat when you've got the grass up through the top there. So yeah, this is coming along quite well. I'm quite happy with how all this is going. It is pretty similar to the other cave that we built for the boneyard, but of course this cave is not going to have anything in it. It's not going to have chests or anything like that. It's just going to be a standard cave section, probably with a big gem room down the very bottom down there. So yeah, it's basically just going to be a longer version of what we've already seen. So just kind of giving you guys a quick refresher, this is what the other cave system looks like. It's very filled out, and it is of course just slathered with bones. The new cave is not going to be quite as slathered. It's going to be a little bit more sparse, just because, yeah, like I said, it's supposed to be just be a natural cave and not actually be a landmark or anything like that. So once again, this is kind of the approach that we're going to take to that other cave system over there. So I'm going to grab out more blocks and keep pushing on through with this. Hopefully I should be able to get the walls on the rest of that stuff pretty quickly and easily. I think we'll come over here and work on this valley that I've got going on with some of this gravel, because I'm really trying to get the landmarks together and connected to everything before going on and just filling in the blank space here and, you know, all the way over there. Like, this is just loads and loads of blank space, and I'm going to have to build hills and valleys and all sorts of stuff in, but I want to try and hook up all of the actual landmarks first, so that even if I haven't completed this stuff, you can still come over and get to everything pretty easily without falling off the edge, because that, of course, at the moment is quite a big issue. So anyway, let's keep going through and building up more walls and things. Here we go, a fully fleshed out cave. Have a look. Oh, there we go. This is the other thing that's happened. I've jumped out and jumped back again just to double check and make sure I didn't have anything like this happening. And it turns out I have actually left some gaps where things can show up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through here with you guys. We're going to have a look at all of the ceiling areas around the place, and if we see any dirt blocks that have got grass on top of them that is visible from down here, I'm going to remove the block itself. So that's the thing, if I remove these blocks, I can then go upstairs and replace them and put something down over top of them, and that way I know for certain that those blocks are going to be removed and you won't see them when we actually finally get to everything else. Oh, there we go. So that block has got grass on top of it, but doesn't have anything above it. So there you go. Just like that. And we have a hole up there which has grass in it. Let's just close that hole off and that should be alright. Oh, and take off the boots of placing. I keep forgetting these guys because I use them so often now that I pretty much always wear them around the place and then forget that they're there and end up dragging blocks all over the place. This roof in here should be fine because I actually created it using red blocks like these ones. So when I was going through, I was actually seeing where the grass was being placed down. A lot of the other stuff was done with just straight dirt though, so leading to those couple of little errors that you saw just before. So let's head back on up and try and fix these couple of little errors. We'll yep. There we go. Probably fly out of here. It's going to be the easiest way of doing this. We've got some more errors over here too. But those ones are really close to the ceiling, so we probably can just go like that. There we go, bam, bam, bam. So there's a couple of holes in it as well. Oh, that's the other thing I've done. I've added a little bit of extra gravel pad over here, because as you can see, I've got a lot of red grass covering the top of these cave systems. So I didn't really want that visible from the surface, so I used just a little bit of grass there to cover all that up. I think this is the holes that we had. There we go. So beautiful. We can just cover those up and add an extra block on top, and that should be done. You shouldn't be able to see any more grass from the inside of this cave. Of course, as we saw in the last little clip, there is this little pathway that goes all the way over and joins up into the cave system, which is perfect. Now it works out quite well. Here we go. There's some more gaps here that we need to fill in. Bam and bam. Not bad on the whole. This thing, from the top, it does look very weird because of all of the grass and everything that's going all over the place. But I think it works quite well from the inside. So the very next thing we need to do is go through and add the ceiling down. So as you can see in here, well, not in here, but in the other areas, they've got very flat ceilings going on. So we actually need to change this and add the stalagmites and stalactites and things. Not the actual decor recipes, because I don't have that anymore. I really want to get that back again. That would really help fleshing out some of these places. But more like what I've done over here. So for those of you who didn't see this, this guy has got like a little bit of a rough ceiling going on. And the way I've done that is literally just got dirt in one hand and gravel on the other and just like spam clicked at the ceiling. Just kind of waved my arms around randomly. And yeah, got a nice little interesting ceiling effect. So we'll go ahead and do something similar over here with this guy now. I think I should have enough grass and gravel to get this done, but I'm probably going to run out of gravel again. So just having a quick look though, we have covered a fair amount of this land now in gravel, and also remembering that this hill takes up a lot more gravel than just a flat piece of land. And anywhere I'm doing anything like that, so the valleys and the hills and all of that kind of stuff is just going to take up buttloads of gravel as I go through and do more of it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with where things are going, but I'm definitely going to need to grab some more gravel. Hopefully I can grab enough gravel between this episode and next episode. The next episode is the last episode here, where we just go through and terraform absolutely everything that's left over. And like I said, maybe put in a small adventure over there. Oh, I know what I want to put in over there. I'm going to put a glorious cache over there. That's perfect. Alright, so now we've got a plan for the other corner over there. And yeah, I'm going to go through and do the ceilings up down in here. Done and done. If we have a look in here, you can see that the ceiling is now all blocked up and very randomized. It doesn't look anything like it did before at all. So this is perfect. This is going to keep the cave look going and alive and well. Now, for some reason, this guy in here is the tallest section of cave, so the other ones down here, the cave roof is a little bit more subdued because it didn't have enough space to really place loads and loads of blocks down. But then if we go down further, you can also see the same effect. So we've got a very low cave ceiling, so I've only had a little bit of room that I could actually use to add little bits and pieces into the cave. So I'm going to go through now, I think, and place down some gemstones in here. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with the rest of these like little cavernous areas. They're probably just going to be left vacant for the time being. Also, I thought I saw like a little space up there. Oh well, it doesn't really matter. If there is space up there, that's perfectly fine. These things are supposed to be random after all. So anyway, I'm going to keep going on through, add some more crystals and stuff down, and then that cave system is probably going to be pretty much done right now. So that's quite exciting. Yeah, it turns out I need a few more crystals, so I'm going to have to wait until the crystals pop back up in the shops, because as you can see down here, I don't really have enough crystals. The color scheme that I've chosen is going for brown, red, and black crystals, and I only had 9 brown crystals, so that's done a little bit of space down the bottom here. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna try and chock this room full of crystals, and I still do need some on the run up and down as well. So I'm gonna go through and buy a whole bunch more of those. Like as you can see, I've put one here and one up here, but with the limited number of crystals I had, that's pretty much all I could do. So right now I think we're getting pretty close to the end of the episode. I just want to go ahead and throw down the last kind of 500-ish gravel that I've got here, see if I can actually do something useful with that. Oh, that's the other thing I did. I went over here and actually filled in the areas over here that still needed to be graveled up. I did leave this a little bit more patchy. I'm not really sure if I like it too much. It does look good on the map though, so I think we're going to leave it exactly as is, at least for the time being. So go through, throw down the last 500 gravel I've got, and then I think we're going to end this episode here. There we go, all 500 gravel is now gone. I've kind of put it into this little ravine that I've been building, so this is starting to build up quite nicely. I do need obviously more gravel to go through and actually finish this, and I've also kind of messed up a little bit here. I needed to have a sharper incline on this side, but that's alright. I can fix that up with more gravel. I should be okay to fit some blocks in between the actual upper level and this level here. It should be alright, I hope. And then of course I do still have holes here, there, and everywhere in this thing, but once again I need to get some more gravel and take a little bit of time to fix those holes up. And then of course we do need to merge up to the top of this guy as well. So still lots more landscaping and graveling to go around here. But I think this is going to be the end of this episode. I really do need to go out and get some more gravel so that we can finish this thing off. Hopefully I can get enough gravel between now and next episode to actually finish all of this in the very next episode. That's what I want to do, because I have a few plans for some small little builds that we can do to round out the alpha. One of which is a Lumostone inspired build on the guild island of the guild that I'm currently a part of. So I'm pretty keen to get over there and do some of that too. So that's probably what we're going to be doing for the next couple of weeks until the alpha changes. Once again, I don't actually know when the alpha is going to change. This is all speculation on my part, but having looked back at my runs of videos, we're up to week 14 or 15 right now, and it's around about this time that other alphas have stopped. I think the longest running alpha was actually 14 episodes, and that was the SkySaga Alpha 4 series that was that long. So this one, I think we're up to 14, we might be up to 15, so I'm expecting a change to come sometime soon, maybe before the end of the year. I'm not 100% sure when it's all going to happen, but I have this inkling feeling in the back of my head that it is coming. So anyway, this is where I'm going to end today's episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed that one, and I will see you in the next video.